I've always been protective of my little sister, even when she swore she didn't need it. She's strong, smart, and stubborn in the way that scares most people. But even the strongest people can be broken if you hit them in the right spot. Her name's Maya. She's 17. Straight A student. Captain of the debate team. She was excited about prom. It sounds like such a small thing, doesn't it? But for her, it meant something. A final chapter to a long, exhausting book called High School in a Mostly White Town. She spent weeks looking for the perfect dress, something bold, something that said, "I'm not asking to be seen. I just am." My mom cried when Maya showed her the dress. Red silk, off the shoulder, with this little gold detail on the side. Mom called her a queen. Maya laughed, but I could tell it meant everything. Then the list came out. The official, prom attendance approved list. Maya wasn't on it. At first, we thought it was a mistake. Maybe a clerical error. So she went to the school office, calm, ready to clear it up. She came back silent. Apparently, there were concerns. That's the word they used. No one could explain what kind of concerns. No one would say who raised them. Just that the decision was final. She tried to brush it off, like it didn't matter. Said prom was overrated anyway. But later that night, I found her in her room, dress laid out on the bed, untouched. She was scrolling through her phone, her face was emotionless. Someone had made a meme. It was a picture of her from a school event, edited to make her look like a bouncer standing outside the prom. Caption, "Not tonight, security." The comments weren't just cruel. They were gleeful. One of them said, "Prom is for students, not statements." I've seen her angry before. I've seen her hurt. But I'd never seen her like that. Quiet. Withdrawn. Like something inside her shut down and didn't want to turn back on. She stopped going to school. Stayed in her room. Didn't eat much. Didn't talk. And the worst part? No one reached out. Not one teacher. Not one classmate. Not even the school counselor. They erased her. Like she was too much to deal with. Too black. Too confident. Too alive. I didn't know how to fix it. I just kept thinking, this shouldn't be happening. Not to her. But life has a way of flipping the script when you least expect it. And soon, the same people who laughed at her were going to learn her name for a very different reason. A week after the prom list came out, Maya still wasn't Maya. She barely left her room. Her phone was off. The dress hung on the back of her closet door like it was watching her, reminding her. I stopped asking how she was. Every time I did, she'd just say, "Fine," and that word felt like a wall. Mom tried to cheer her up with little things, her favorite food, a trip to the movies, even suggesting a family prom night at home. But nothing worked. It was like the color had drained out of her. Then came that Saturday. We were out of cereal, and Mom asked Maya to come with her to the grocery store. Nothing special. Just a normal errand. At least, it was supposed to be. They were almost done shopping when it happened. A small electrical fire started in the back of the store, something with the freezer wiring. It was supposed to be manageable, contained. But it wasn't. According to the reports, the fire spread faster than anyone expected. Smoke filled the aisles. Alarms went off. People panicked. Customers rushed for the exits, leaving carts and chaos behind. Mom tried to get Maya out immediately, but somewhere in the panic, they got separated. That's when Maya heard a child screaming. A little girl had gotten stuck behind a tipped shelf near the dairy section. People were running past her, yelling, coughing. No one stopped. Except Maya. She pulled the shelf off the girl, picked her up, and started running. Her dress caught on something metal, tore at the bottom. She almost fell twice. The smoke was so thick, she had to crouch and crawl while holding the kid in her arms. When she finally made it out, her arms were shaking. Her eyes were red. But the girl was alive. Someone caught it on video. A teenage black girl, emerging from smoke, cradling a child. Her hair frizzed from the heat, her dress covered in ash, and that look on her face, somewhere between terror and determination. They didn't even know her name. The video just said, "Teen girl saves child in grocery store fire." By the end of the night, it had 100,000 views. By morning, it was on the news. We watched it from the living room, Maya sitting on the edge of the couch, stunned. Like she couldn't believe it was her. Reporters called. A local news van parked outside our house. Mom cried again, but not from sadness this time. And just like that, Maya was back in the world. Not because she wanted to be. Because she'd earned it. Not with a speech. Not with a protest. Not with a post. With a decision. She ran toward danger when others ran away. And now the world was starting to realize what her school refused to see. That Maya wasn't too much. She was exactly what this world needed more of. They kept calling her the girl in the viral video. Not Maya. Not student of the year. Not the kid they barred from prom. Just the girl. Like her bravery was a costume they didn't recognize her in. By Monday morning, our whole town was buzzing. The video hit 1 million views. Celebrities were reposting it with captions like "real-life hero" and "this young queen deserves everything." But no one mentioned what had happened just a week before. Not a single article talked about the school. About the way they erased her name. About how they decided she didn't belong at prom, or how her picture had been used as a joke. No apology. No acknowledgement. Then came the interview requests. Morning shows. Podcasts. Even a spot on national television. And through all of it, Maya stayed calm. Not cold, just distant. Like she'd stepped out of her old skin and didn't know if she wanted to wear a new one yet. She didn't talk about the school in the interviews. I think she wanted to take the high road. Or maybe she thought no one would care. She'd become a symbol now. Not a girl with a bruised heart. A symbol can't cry in its room or throw its phone at the wall. But I knew. I knew she was still carrying it. The betrayal. The silence. The loneliness. And then, like clockwork, our school tried to join the celebration. Principal Hargrove, the same man who signed off on the prom list, posted a photo on the school's Facebook page with the caption, "We're so proud of our very own Maya Johnson. A shining example of courage and character." I almost threw my phone across the room. Our very own. They didn't even claim her when she was walking the halls. They claimed her only when she was viral. Maya saw it too. She didn't say a word, just stared at the screen like she was trying to burn a hole through it. Then, the real insult came. They sent her a new invitation. Not to prom. To accept an award. Some nonsense about student leadership and bravery. They wanted to present it to her at a school assembly. The same auditorium where just 2 weeks earlier, they didn't want her to show her face. Maya looked at the envelope for a long time. She didn't rip it up. She didn't say no. She just said, "I need time. Time to decide if she wanted to walk back into the building that told her she wasn't enough. Time to decide whether forgiveness is earned, or expected." I didn't push her either way. But deep down, I hoped she'd say yes. Not for them. For her. Because they didn't get to write the end of her story. She did. The day of the assembly felt surreal. Maya decided to go. She didn't tell us why, just walked downstairs that morning in a navy blue dress, hair braided back, face calm like still water before a storm. Mom asked if she was ready. She just nodded. I drove her to school. She hadn't stepped foot in that building in 2 weeks. When we pulled up, some of the students outside actually clapped. I could see a few phones pointed at her through the car window. Suddenly everyone wanted to be close to the hero. The auditorium was full. Teachers, students, local press, and even the mayor. A big banner hung above the stage, honoring bravery, one of our own. That line made my stomach turn. Principal Hargrove stepped up first. Gave the kind of speech that sounded like it was written by a PR team. He talked about overcoming obstacles and the spirit of community. He never mentioned prom. Never mentioned the list. Just smiled and gestured for Maya to take the stage. She walked up slowly. Took the mic, looked out at the crowd. And then she told the truth. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She didn't accuse anyone by name. She just said, a few weeks ago, I was told I wasn't welcome here. Not in words, but in silence. In decisions made behind closed doors. In laughter that echoed online. I wasn't brave that day. I was hurt. Humiliated. Forgotten. You could hear the air change in the room. Like everyone held their breath at once. She kept going. But then, something happened. I was given a choice. I could run like everyone else, or I could act. I didn't do what I did because I wanted to be a hero. I did it because I couldn't live with myself if I didn't. She paused, then said the line I'll never forget. You don't get to erase someone and then take credit for their comeback. Silence. Complete, deafening silence. She stepped back from the mic. No dramatic bow. No smile. Just walked off stage. Half the room didn't know whether to clap. The other half stood up. The principal tried to recover, called it a powerful message, but the damage was done. Maya didn't play the role they wanted. She didn't give them their clean photo op moment. She gave them truth. And truth doesn't make for easy headlines. After the assembly, students came up to her, some in tears, others just saying, "I'm sorry," without context, like it was the only thing they had the courage to say. She didn't say much back. Just nodded. Thanked them. We walked out together, side by side. She wasn't smiling, but I could tell something had shifted. She had taken back the narrative. And this time, no one was going to twist it. After the assembly, it felt like Maya had become two people. There was the girl the world had decided to celebrate, the viral hero, the calm speaker, the symbol of courage. The one smiling in news articles, featured in montages with soft piano music playing in the background. People called her brilliant, brave, grace under pressure. And then there was the girl I knew. The one who still hadn't looked at her prom dress since that night. The one who flinched every time her phone buzzed with another notification. The one who, after the cameras left, sat on the edge of her bed and whispered, "I don't know what to do with all this." She didn't want their applause. She wanted their honesty. She got letters from governors, hashtags trending with her name, even a scholarship offer from a university she hadn't applied to. Mom was overjoyed. So was the rest of our extended family. Friends we hadn't spoken to in years were reaching out with wide-eyed wonder, like they'd just discovered Maya for the first time. But it all felt too late. The same people who ignored her brilliance when it was inconvenient now couldn't get enough of it when it made them look good. She'd become useful. That realization haunted her. She was polite about it. Smiled when she needed to. Gave interviews when she had to. But something in her tone had changed. There was a layer of distance in her voice now. Like she was moving through a world that had only recently decided she was visible, and she wasn't sure if she liked being seen this way. One day, she got a handwritten letter from a woman in another state. A teacher. The letter wasn't polished or rehearsed. It didn't praise her heroism. It simply said, Thank you for reminding me what quiet strength looks like. I've been afraid to speak up at my school, but now I know silence isn't neutral. Maya read that letter 3 times. Then she folded it and kept it in her wallet. That letter meant more to her than all the awards combined. Not long after, the school announced the district-wide Student Hero of the Year award. Of course, they gave it to Maya. There was a ceremony. Flashbulbs. Speeches. This time, she didn't give one. She accepted the award, smiled politely, and stepped off stage. Afterward, she pulled me aside and said something I didn't expect. I wish none of it had happened. I just wanted to go to prom, wear my dress, dance like everyone else. I didn't know what to say. What do you tell someone who saved a life but lost a piece of herself in the process? I just nodded. Sat next to her on the curb outside the event hall while she stared up at the stars, silent. And I thought, this isn't what heroism looks like on TV. It's quieter. Heavier. It doesn't always come with peace. But it's real. And Maya, whether she wanted to be or not, was real in a way none of them could ever fake. Prom night came and went. The real one, I mean. The school's prom. The one Maya was never truly invited to. We didn't talk about it much leading up to the date. It just sort of hovered in the air like dust no one wanted to breathe in. Mom avoided the topic. I caught her sneaking glances at the calendar, though. Like she was counting down to something we all pretended wasn't there. The night of prom, Maya didn't go out. She stayed in her room. I could hear faint music coming from behind her door, jazz, I think. Something soft, not loud or angry, but distant. Like a memory that hadn't fully formed yet. I stood outside her door for a while. I wanted to knock. Say something. Ask if she was okay. But I didn't. Some things need space to land before they can stand. Later that night, I found her in the backyard. She'd changed into that red dress. Yeah. The dress. The one she bought before everything fell apart. It looked exactly like I remembered, elegant, bold, hers. She was barefoot on the grass, earphones in, dancing slowly under the moonlight. Alone. Graceful. Powerful. I didn't interrupt. She saw me, though. Gave a little nod. No smile, no words. Just acknowledgement. I nodded back and sat on the porch, watching her move through the dark like the world finally made sense for a second. It hit me then, she didn't need their stage. Their playlist. Their approval. She was building her own moment. Later, Mom came out with 2 glasses of sparkling cider. Maya took one, lifted it in a quiet toast, and said, to letting go. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't closure. It was something in between. A way of saying, I'm still here. You don't get to break me. We ended up having our own little prom. Just the 3 of us. No balloons or streamers. Just music, takeout, and a lot of silence that didn't feel heavy anymore. Maya even let Mom take a picture of her in the dress. That photo sits framed in our hallway now. Not because of what happened. But because of who she became in spite of it. A few days later, Maya got an unexpected package in the mail. Inside was a charm bracelet. No note, no return address. Just a single charm attached to the chain, a tiny gold flame. She stared at it for a long time. Then she put it on. Didn't say a word. Didn't need to. That flame. It wasn't about the fire anymore. It was about everything that came after. And the fire she found inside herself. I've spent a lot of nights thinking about how to tell this story. Not because Maya asked me to. She never would. She's not the type to relive what hurt her just to prove a point. But I am. Maybe because I saw it all and still didn't say enough when it mattered. See, I didn't stand up when they laughed at her online. I didn't post anything when she was erased from the prom list. I didn't storm into the principal's office or write some righteous monologue on social media. I watched. I waited. I hoped it would blow over. And that makes me part of the silence she talked about. I've never told her that. Never said, I should have done more. But I'm saying it now. Because sometimes being a brother means protecting someone. And sometimes it means admitting when you didn't. After the fire, after the interviews, after the awards, people moved on. That's what they do. The internet finds another story. The school goes back to normal. But Maya? She carried it. All of it. She still walks into rooms and wonders if people see her or just the headlines. She still hears echoes of the laughter behind that meme. But she also carries something else now. Strength. Not the kind they put on plaques. The kind you build in the quiet, when no one's clapping, when no one's watching. The kind that comes from choosing not to disappear when the world says you don't belong. She never got that apology. Not really. No one ever came clean. No one admitted they'd failed her. But she got something else. She got to reclaim her name. And that matters more. I remember the night she came into my room, something she hadn't done in years, and sat on the edge of my bed. She was holding that little gold flame on her bracelet, twisting it between her fingers. "Do you think it was worth it?" she asked. I didn't know what to say. I still don't. So I just said the only truth I had: you were always worth it. Even when they didn't see it. Especially then. She nodded, stood up, and walked out. And I knew, somehow, that was enough. So why am I telling this story now? Because someone out there is Maya. Or knows a Maya. Or maybe, like me, stood by when they should have stood up. This story isn't just hers anymore. It's mine, too. It's all of ours, if we're honest enough to admit it. She never got to wear that dress to prom. But that night in the backyard, barefoot in the grass, dancing under the stars. That was her prom. And no one can take that from her. Not ever.